Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We've got about 3 weeks left, a little less, 20 days, 19 if you don't count today, left in our petition drive. So we're in the midst of a lot of craziness all over the state. We have a great show for you tonight, nonetheless. A lot of hemp news over the past couple of weeks, especially the last week. Standing by in the wings is John Cornett and Corey, ready to sing some groovy tunes. And sitting next to me is that rascal himself, Casper Leach. Hey, Casper. We'll be back with an exciting hemp news segment and more fun and games. We'll be taking your phone calls at our show, Cannabis Common Sense. So first, though, we'll bring out our infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
All right. With less than 3 months until Election Day, November, and here in Oregon, as many as 3 separate marijuana legalization initiatives vying to appear on the ballot, a new poll shows that 51% of voters support allowing adults to use, possess, and grow cannabis. The Survey USA poll released on Tuesday didn't ask voters which of the 3 measures they would prefer. Instead, it simply asked them whether they would support or oppose allowing adults in Oregon to use, possess, and grow marijuana for personal use, while allowing the state to regulate and tax it, reports Thomas C. at the Daily Chronic. Just more than half, 51% of those polled support marijuana legalization, while just 41% oppose it. There are no regional differences within the state on this question, according to the poll, but there are enormous age differences. Younger voters support legalization by 48 points, while senior citizens oppose it by 24 points. Democrats are more likely to support cannabis legalization, and Republicans more likely to oppose it, according to this poll. In other news, legendary rock star and cancer survivor Melissa Etheridge, who's in the New York State Capitol, Albany, for a concert on Saturday last week at the Egg Theater, called on New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and the leaders of the New York Senate to pass a Compassionate Care Act for medical marijuana. Etheridge also arranged for patients and caregivers from Compassionate Care New York, a coalition of patients, caregivers, and organizations working for passage of the bill, to collect signatures in support of legislation at her concert. The Compassionate Care Act would alleviate the suffering of thousands of New Yorkers and seriously debilitating conditions such as cancer, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, and HIV/AIDS by allowing them access to a small amount of medical marijuana under the supervision of their healthcare provider. Etheridge said, quote, "Tonight I'm calling on New York Governor Cuomo and the New York State Legislature to stand with patients across New York and pass the Compassionate Care Act without further delay. As a cancer survivor, I know the ravages of serious illness, and patients who are suffering deserve access to a medication that can provide them with relief," end quote. On a national basis, the Marijuana Policy Project says they're setting the stage for a 2016 marijuana legalization campaign in Massachusetts and other states. MPP, the Washington, D.C. based group that organized and financed Colorado's Amendment 64, which legalized marijuana in that state, has opened a ballot committee with Massachusetts campaign finance regulators. MPP opened a ballot referendum committee with the Massachusetts Office of Campaign and Political Finance on Tuesday. Committee, called the Campaign to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol in Massachusetts, allows MPP to begin raising and spending money in the state. MPP plans to put cannabis legalization questions on the ballot for the presidential election year. It also plans on waging 2016 campaigns, they say, in Arizona, California, Maine, Montana, and Nevada. Alaska will vote on legalization this November, and it's likely to be on the ballot this year here in Oregon. The Marijuana Policy Project spent $2 million in Colorado getting Amendment 64 approved. It passed by 10 percentage points, running more than 5 points ahead of President Obama in the state. Back in Washington, D.C., a biennial federal government survey released on Thursday dispels the myth that rolling back marijuana prohibition laws will lead to an increase in teen marijuana use. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, High School Youth Risk Behavior Survey found the rate of current marijuana use among U.S. high school students remained flat from 2011 to 2013. During that period of time, voters in Washington and Colorado adopted and have begun implementing laws making marijuana legal for adults. State Attorney General Bob Ferguson's legal opinion that municipalities can ban the supposedly legal cannabis shops. Now a lawsuit's been brought by a man who was denied a license to sell marijuana in central Washington. At least 10 Washington cities and counties have already banned marijuana businesses, much as Oregon cities and counties have banned marijuana dispensaries for sick and dying patients. 69 more municipalities and 12 counties have instituted moratoriums on cannabis businesses in Washington state, according to the Municipal Research and Survey. A recent poll in Florida has shown support for medical marijuana at almost 90%. The medicinal cannabis question on the Florida ballot this November could even affect the gubernatorial race. But in a move of questionable political wisdom, deep-pocketed Republicans have raised more than $7.7 million to fight Amendment 2, a proposal to allow doctors to authorize seriously ill patients to use medical marijuana in Florida. The latest financial reports from the two biggest groups fighting medicinal cannabis in the Sunshine State show that the Drug-Free Florida campaign alone has raised $2.7 million, including a single $2.5 million contribution from Las Vegas casino magnate and GOP wheeler-dealer Sheldon Adelson, according to Reuters news agency. Adelson, chairman and CEO of Las Vegas Sands Corporation, is one of the richest men in the world, and not coincidentally, one of the biggest donors to the Republican Party. He spent $150 million supporting GOP candidates in the 2012 election, almost all of it to people who lost. Joining the Republicans in their anti-pot fight this week was the supposedly nonpartisan Florida Sheriff's Association, which began sponsoring an inane and almost fact-free educational campaign against the medical marijuana amendment. Stay tuned in coming weeks for more information on that. If you're driving in Washington State this summer, something rather odd may be happening. While you're at a stoplight, you may encounter people wearing orange vests with signs saying Paid Volunteer Survey, and they may ask you if you want to take a blood, saliva, and breath test for marijuana. They'll give you $60 if you say yes. These government-hired survey teams have already begun asking hundreds of Washington State motorists to provide breath, saliva, and blood samples, according to the Seattle Times. And they'll be asking questions, too. The voluntary roadside surveys are a federally funded project to give police and safety agencies a better idea of how many Washingtonians drive high on cannabis, according to the officials. National agencies are working with the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, which is in a hurry-up mode to get the data before retail marijuana stores open in Washington later this summer. That way, officials say they'll have a baseline from which to measure any safety effects of cannabis legalization, according to Commission spokeswoman Jonah Vidic. The findings might be used to help local law enforcement decide how much time to spend on marijuana DUI patrols. The roadside survey began last Friday and continued over the weekend in Spokane and Yakima counties. Kitsap and Whatcom counties will follow, likely this weekend, and maybe King and Snohomish counties next. In our last story tonight, a report unveils how the Drug Enforcement Administration has systematically blocked research and reclassification of marijuana, MDMA, and new synthetic drugs. The Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Study, or MAPS, will hold a Wednesday press conference to accompany the release of their new report, The DEA, 4 Decades of Impeding and Rejecting Science. The report, which is being made available last week documents a decades-long pattern of systemically obstructing medical research and ignoring scientific evidence. In a series of historic votes late last month, the U.S. House approved a bipartisan measure prohibiting the DEA from undermining state medical marijuana laws, as well as 2 amendments prohibiting the DEA from interfering with state hemp laws. The votes were seen as a rebuke to the DEA Administrator Michelle Leinhart, who's under increasing pressure to step down. Well, that's the end of our Hemp News segment tonight. Standing by for the past 10 minutes or so, or maybe even 15, is John Cornett and Corey. How are you folks?
Pretty good, Paul.
We got legs of tree trunks.
All right. Good.
I think it's shameful what the feds are still holding cannabis to Schedule 1. That's all I got to say about that. Otherwise, it's so nice to be stoned. 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 A proclamation was issued today by the government of the USA. 9 years of years in jail, they say, for legal possession. Who knows? How could they think they were right when they're wrong? I guess they've never been stoned. Oh, it's so nice to be stoned. Oh, it's so nice to be stoned. So nice. Oh, it's so nice to be stoned. Marijuana is the killer weed. It's gonna be the end of you and me. So says the U.S. News Report. Excuse me while I take a snort. Let's get together now and take a toke of that magic smoke. It's so nice to be stoned. It's so nice to be stoned. It's so nice to be stoned. So nice. It's so nice to be stoned. Guns and tanks and riot gas can't stop me from smoking grass. Oh, listen to me, brother, I'll tell you true. Marijuana is good for you. Oh yeah, marijuana is good for you. It's so nice to be stoned. Oh, it's so nice to be stoned. So nice. It's so nice to be stoned. It's so nice to be stoned. Gonna sing it from the top. Oh, it's so nice to be stoned.
John, in short order, at my request, had learned this old 70s song by a band, Southern band, called White Witch. Welcome to the show, Casper.
Thank you, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, and happy Friday to you, viewers. If you are out there tonight and you have a question about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or helping medical marijuana patients, or about our initiatives to end marijuana prohibition here in the state of Oregon, give us a call at that number there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442.
I have a question.
Yes.
What on earth are we going to do if we can't trust a government agency and people with badges to tell us the truth. And now we find that for 40 years they've been hiding the truth from us and lying
Well,
to
it
us.
it was lies to make it illegal to start with. I mean, history is written by those who win.
I don't.
too.
That you can't believe the DEA. It's kind of surprising.
You think so? Okay. I don't think it's so surprising, but that's the way it goes. We are in the midst of a petition campaign right now, and we are hiring people and even paying people on a daily basis. If you are interested in being hired for $15 an hour, going out and getting signatures, then and we even have bonuses if you meet certain criteria, get a certain production. And so if you're interested in being involved in that petition campaign, you can give us a call at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606, or you can come by our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard. You have to read a little bit of information from the Oregon Secretary of State, take a little online course, answer some questions, then turn in your ID to the Secretary of State to get an ID badge. Then you can be a petitioner once they process that badge, which takes about a week. But we are hiring people right now. If you know anyone in the state of Oregon looking for a job, give us a call.
Well, I want to go to Jamaica as soon as possible.
All right.
They're changing the laws down there. It's going
They
to
are.
be great
They are.
to be hanging out in Jamaica, laying on the beach, smoking up some of that
It's always
legal
great
bud.
to hang around Jamaica. It's a little hot at this time of year, but if you like heat, that's a good place to be. I like going. I went to Jamaica only once, back 30 years ago almost, when I was a young man. Went there with my girlfriend right after going to the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. But it's a wonderful place.
Well, I like heat. The last person I dated, we broke up because he kept the temperature at night set on 80, and I can't sleep in a place that cold.
Oh, well then you would like it there, I guess, because it is warm. I would sweat a lot at that temperature. I can't handle that. Well, anyway, if you have a question for us tonight, you can call us there at that number that's now on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. So your radio network has been expanding even more. I notice you have our old friend Doug McVeigh.
Doug McVeigh
is on there,
every
and you've
Tuesday
got
and Thursday before my show.
the French guy whose name I can't pronounce,
Same here,
Farid
doing a wonderful
Gavichiali or
job.
something, and
And we
that
got
sounds more
Kevin
Italian.
Zeese is joining the network.
That's exciting.
Every
Zeus is
Tuesday?
a great guy. He actually, back when he was the normal coordinator back in the
Way back.
1980s, he named me as the Washington State normal director.
Nice.
Way back when I was just, again, a young lad.
You're going to be
Before
on
I
every
went to Jamaica.
Tuesday afternoon, and so we'll be able to just call Clearing the Fog is the name of his show. And then starting on Monday, the last Monday of this month, every Monday and Wednesday at 7 a.m., which is 4 p.m. in Japan, there will be a Japanese hour on Time for Hemp
Then you
twice
have
a week.
Spanish.
And French, and so we are really expanding the information age, and we're taking advantage of the global broadcasting world around us.
I really love Michael Bafari, that guy
he's
down
great.
in South America and
Well,
Argentina.
and his co-partner, Morgiana Sativa, which I asked her if that was her real name, and she just laughed and said, "What do you think?" So I guess it is. But Morgiana Sativa and Michael Bafari together do a great show in Spanish every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, at high noon Pacific Standard Time, as a matter of fact. So do check it out.
All right. And your own show as well.
Yeah, I do
Every
a show
day.
Monday through Friday,
on
10
the
a.m.
iHeartRadio, is that it?
All of this goes into iHeartRadio, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, but we are the only global broadcasting network on iHeartRadio, and that is all about marijuana and how wonderful it is and the need to end prohibition. And with our team of about almost 30 hosts, Joe Grabine is joining our network too in another month, and we got another lady coming out.
You're
of
filling
Los
up the
Angeles.
clock, around the clock.
We are, and it looks like with a little more help coming down the road, which we'll soon learn about, we will be able to actually be doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, broadcasting.
All
at
right.
Time for Hemp.
We have a caller who's standing by. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello, Paul.
Howdy. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. This is Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Listen, I've talked to you before, but I called today just to make a comment to
Okay.
people like myself who I'm retired. I don't have a license to protect anymore, and it's time for people like us. You know, we use cannabis. We use it on our fruits, our cereals, our soups. We smoke it. It's
Yeah.
time for us to join organizations. It's time for us to get out there, do something about it, sign the petitions, and let's get rid of this BS that we're dealing with now.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
You're
I'm
very
just
welcome.
really uptight about this whole thing right now. Both BS, like I said.
Yeah, we need to quit putting our family, our brothers and sisters, harmless, positive community assets who just happen to enjoy marijuana in prisons and jails. That's just got
quit
to stop.
destroying people's lives.
I've had
you know?
too many people that have been negatively impacted by the marijuana laws, including myself. And
myself.
I don't want to be locked up in a cage anymore. I don't want to be fingerprinted. I don't want to have to bend over and cough ever again.
Well,
But,
and I do agree too. I get tired of hearing in the news about how there's like 178 million people that have or do smoke marijuana, and then you put together a really nice rally, get some amazing speakers, and 15 people show up to support you. It's like, you know, you've got to have the kahunas to come outside and stand up and say, hey, here's the facts, Jack, get over it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Let everybody know about it. Talk
Yeah.
about cannabis. Quit talking about marijuana. Talk about cannabis.
Yeah.
Let people know it's there, what it's good for, what we need it for in life, like they did in 1937 and before.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank
Later,
you.
man. Bye.
We have another caller. Let's see if we can bring that caller in. Welcome to the show, caller.
Is that me?
That is you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate the invitation to be on the
Sure,
show.
we're ready to answer questions and wheel and deal here. And our
Casper.
as long as we
Yeah,
say that again.
go ahead. Casper mentioned something that at the very beginning about it reminded me of to ask something. I haven't seen too many of your episodes, but I'm interested to know if you guys ever have a conversation about the difference that the difference in the all capital letter names that we have versus the upper and lowercase flesh and blood man names. And
I
that's
see.
an education.
You mean like individual sovereignty issues and the admiralty law issues?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Along those lines and that kind of stuff. Do you have help people understand the reason why it seems like our voices don't matter?
You know, we do discuss that sometimes. Obviously, I am an advocate to expand natural individual rights and to stop the corporate dominance in our society. In fact, we're working on a organization called the Individual Rights Initiative Sponsors, specifically to delineate in the Constitution of our state, hopefully others, that natural individuals, people, have more rights than computers and corporations. You know, recent Supreme Court rulings like Citizens United have said that corporations have more rights than people even. So only by amending the Constitution can we change that. And the legal establishment has basically adopted a lot of restrictions on natural individuals. So given the exponential growth of computers and artificial intelligence and nanotechnology, becomes a dystopian possibility that unless we expand natural individual rights, we will lose them in short order. And so we do discuss that. Thanks for that opportunity to elucidate.
But I am looking to marry a corporation. So if a corporation out there is looking for a faithful husband, you can give me a ring and we'll make the arrangements. And
all right,
I'm yours.
Okay, but thanks for your call and for raising that issue.
All right.
Have a good
All
day.
right. Well, hey, look
We
forward to
have
more.
a little video we're going to run right now that features one of the pioneers in cannabis, a person who discovered THC back in the 60s and discovered the body's endogenous cannabinoids that he named anandamide, Raphael McCoolum, in this upcoming video. What if cannabis cured cancer? The new frontier. So we'll play part of that. Stay tuned.
Dozens of major studies have been published in the last few years that indicate that the chemicals in cannabis, in the lab and in animals, have a significant effect on fighting almost all major cancers, including brain, breast, prostate, lung, thyroid, colon, skin, pituitary, melanoma, and leukemia cancers. They do this by promoting the death of cancer cells that have forgotten how to die, as well as a reduction in their crucial blood supply, by leaving healthy cells untouched. But why, you may wonder, would cannabis have any effect on cancer? Cancer can be explained in one word: endocannabinoids. Amazing as it sounds, we're all born with a form of cannabis already in our bodies. It's called the endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system, or ECS, influences multiple physiological processes. This intricate system modulates energy intake as well as nutrient transport, metabolism, and storage. A completely natural collection of compounds. Endocannabinoids are...
So that's a interesting video out there on the internet. You can tune in for more of that. It's What If Cannabis Cured Cancer? We have a couple of other people standing by waiting on the phone lines. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello, hi. I had a question regarding rental housing. Like, if a landlord has a no smoking stipulation, how would that affect someone who's on the program?
You know, it could be used against them in an eviction proceeding. You can't, if that's in there, smoking anything, you know, that they say smoking anything isn't allowed in that building, then, you know, I personally very rarely smoke, usually only at the insistence of others, but I vaporize quite often. That's not smoking. It also doesn't smell like smoking and doesn't leave that heavy aroma, you know, that lingers when you smoke. But the landlords can stipulate that you not smoke anything in their property, and that's a legal thing for them to do.
Okay, well, that answers the question. I appreciate it.
Sure, you're welcome. Thanks for that. I'm sure a few people also had that question. Have a good night. And I think we have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'm talking to Paul. But,
this is Paul.
Yeah, Casper. Well, the reason I'm calling in, the guy that got me going was, you know, saying how, you know, we've been, you know, like using that shit. I'm one of those guys. I'm in the 70 and over bunch, you know, is why I don't do too much. But the reason that guy got me going was because, like, my kids, you know, I've always smoked, you know, since I was fucking 10 years old, you know, 60 years of, you know, and not because I'm don't do nothing type of guy, but to watch all the shit that's come down, you know. I did a fucking year in the county for a joint.
Wow.
That was in LA County, you know, and then to see that
that's a tough place.
You know, and I could say, I should shamefully say, I've basically just been watching, you know. You guys did get me to go out and register to vote so I could sign that petition.
Thank you.
But
people should know felons can vote in this state. You know, if you have a felony in your past and you think you can't vote, as long as you're not locked up in this state, you can vote.
No, that's not what I'm calling about. I'm calling to say that my kids, you know, they grew up always, you know, just watching me smoke. It was never a big deal. Got popped a couple times. But, you know, so now with their kids, and one of my boys has even been a grower for me, and then he got out of it. He's doing other things now. But so now with around their kids, I have to hide when I smoke. I can't smoke in, you know, well, I don't care about in their house or on their property, you know. So now that things are changing, I just kind of wonder how are they going to introduce this to their children.
I think you just have to be honest. I mean, just because you aren't smoking in their presence,
that's
you
what
should
I'm
let them
saying.
know you just
why
respect
couldn't we
their.
have been honest?
Yeah, it's your kids who don't want you to be honest. They're afraid that the law enforcement will come and take their kids away. I remember back in the 60s and 70s when adults would smoke around children, and children weren't seized because of that specifically. But nowadays, children can be taken from parents who use cannabis in their presence. So that's a very scary thing. And
no, but like.
And again, I think it would be handling it like liquor. My mom and dad drank beer and would have scotch and whiskey around the house.
But they didn't hide it.
Clear.
They didn't hide it.
Well, they didn't hide it. They always made it clear that you had to be an adult to drink it. They always let you know that there's problems with it, that it could be addictive, health problems on the side of it, that all things in moderation was proper. They gave me an education on it before I had to go out and find it in the street.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know how old you are, but I probably got you by a few.
Anyway. Now that it's becoming legal, maybe we can stop being in the closet about it. Hopefully that's the case. Especially here you are at 70 plus years old doing something that probably increases your longevity, makes you live longer, because cannabis has a lot of longevity enhancing properties. And you've got to hide that. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I've always believed closets are for shoes, not for living in.
Your blood pressure before we smoke. I went over to the hospital. Okay, so then we smoked and everything, had a couple bongs. I said, okay, well, I'll see you then. She goes, hey, well, let me take your blood pressure again. She was doing some kind of project for her school.
Uh-huh.
She goes,
well, good. So maybe she got some information to help her that hypothesis. All right, thank you for calling, sir. Appreciate
but
your.
Nobody ever called it that. They called it send your fucking ass to jail.
Yeah, I can relate, having been there. All right, thank you, sir. And we have one of our longtime associates, a co-host on this show from about show 80 in 1998 through show 350 about 5 or 6 years ago. Dr. Philip Levesque is on the phone. Hello, Dr. Levesque.
Good afternoon, Paul.
How are you, doctor?
Well, I'm improving enough so that I'd like to get back on your show maybe sometime in the next 3 weeks.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Our studio is going to be closed over the 4th of July week, the first whole week of the month. So maybe just after that.
Okay.
Or just before that. You're always welcome, of course.
I've been watching you lately, and I haven't seen one of your programs related to the medical aspects of
right in the midst of our
marijuana, and I'd like to
petition
do that because that's what we did when we first started on this program.
That's right. In fact, we started first helping patients get medical marijuana permits right here in this studio back in 1999, as people start showing up before the show to talk to you, and next thing you know, it blossomed and grew.
And to show you how much I support your return, Dr. Levesque, I'll let you diagnose me to the fact that I need to have medical marijuana, and then I will smoke some here in the studio at your direction, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Well, another thing, Paul.
Another thing.
You had a lady by the name of Hannah on the program a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Can you put me in touch with her?
Yes. I'll call you.
I want to volunteer to speak at her programs.
Oh, I thought you just thought she was cute.
No,
okay.
We'll
put you in touch.
Very good.
We'll hope to see you here on the show in the near future. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Don't smoke in the rain.
Indeed. It gets wet. Right now we have our paper out. We'll have another one out in the coming weeks. We are in the midst of our petition campaign. If you can find this newspaper out there, you can find a copy of both Initiative 21, a constitutional amendment to end marijuana prohibition in very simple and short terms. It's 2 sentences long. And Initiative 22, the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, which also all fits on a single sheet of paper, double-sided. And it is available right here, and we're in the midst of our petition campaign. We really need about 4,000 to 5,000 signatures a day for the next 20 days to put this on the ballot. And that's why we are paying $15 an hour to anyone who wants to gather signatures on this. And we're paying daily. You come in, you work 8 hours, you get 100 signatures or more in that 8 hours, and not only will you get $15 an hour for the day, you'll also get a $50 bonus. And it's all payable the next day. So we're paying daily on gathering signatures on both of these petitions. So if you're interested in getting involved, you can call our office at the number right there on your screen. It's 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. Or come right into our office at 2112 Southeast Sandy Boulevard. As you can see, my good friend and associate, Willie Nelson, is there on the corner. And we have a little video from Willie where he endorses our petition drive and urges you to help us. So say it, Willie. Come on, Willie. Willie, or won't he?
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and I urge you to support the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to regulate marijuana and restore industrial hemp. This initiative will end adult marijuana prohibition and let our criminal justice officers focus limited resources on real criminals and not on marijuana users like me. OCTA will also allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, and food to create jobs and help our economy. Please support OCTA. Thank you.
How often does your newspaper come out, Paul?
Right now we're going on a quarterly basis as we gather advertisers. We're going to go to a bi-monthly basis and then hopefully to a monthly basis. But it's also available on the internet at hemp.org. It's been on the internet since 1991. That makes it the oldest continuously published publication on the internet. You know, the web didn't start till 1994. I started posting hemp news to Usenet newsgroup bulletin boards back in the days of ASCII and 800 baud. We transmitted about 60 characters a second.
Well, it's a great little newspaper. I read it every day with my coffee. I have short-term memory loss, so
you got to reread it every day. I understand. Well, hopefully we'll come out with others. You know, there's a real reason that we're motivated to end marijuana prohibition. You know, not only have we experienced the wrath of the police state, but we have seen the terror of the militarization of the police. And we have a little video that's kind of depressing, but it shows the truth of the situation. It's from Canadian folk singer Lindy. It's called No Knock Raid. There are some violent scenes in this 4-minute video. We'll be back in just a moment.
We have increased the amount of money for handling the problem of dangerous drugs sevenfold. It will be $600 million this year. More money will be needed in the future. I want to say, however, that despite our budget problems, to the extent money can help in meeting the problem of dangerous drugs, it will be available. This is one area where we cannot have budget cuts, because we must wage what I have called total war against public enemy number one in the United States, the problem of dangerous drugs.
It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. We'll shoot your dogs in front of your kids, 'cause we are the SWAT. We're here for your pot and all the cash that you've got. We are adrenaline junkies taking orders from the top. KGB and the DEA, they'll make you disappear like in Guantanamo Bay. In the middle of the night, you'll have nothing to say. If we get the wrong address, it doesn't matter anyway. We'll still get our kicks, we'll still have our fun. Yeah, we are the SWAT, we are adrenaline junkies till the drugs are all gone. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. You do the time for your victimless crime. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. This is a war, and this is your fate. We are the face of your new police state. We are the law, and we've got the guns. Statutory power, mandatory minimums. We are the SWAT, we're here for your pot and all the cash that you got. We are adrenaline junkies taking orders from the czar. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. You do the time for your victimless crime. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. Flash bang on the ground, don't hear a sound. Could be you, could be the mayor of your town. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid.
In that final scene in Arizona, a man who had just got off work was asleep on the couch, just murdered in cold blood. I think they fired 28 times and hit him 15 times. That's the problem with the war on drugs. We have this horrible militarization and loss of civil liberties that has accompanied the escalation of the war on drugs. We've gone from 300,000 people in jail in 1972 to 2.5 million Americans in jail today. We have more people in jail than any other country in the history of the world. China only has 1.6 billion people in jail, but they have more than 4 times more people than we do. So marijuana is the base of this war on drugs. I don't think anyone should be criminalized for an addiction problem and an illness. And so, but marijuana doesn't cause physical addiction. And so we're working to end marijuana prohibition. And so we hope we'll get your support. You know, I have a number of antique items here that I often show every week. And here's one from Johnson & Johnson. It's a salicylic acid and cannabis indica plaster from Johnson & Johnson circa 1880. This is a huge plaster that is 8 inches wide and 2 feet long, and it's a mixture of hemp, cannabis extract, and aspirin, and you put it on topically on skin diseases. They actually list the directions here in several languages. So this is a Johnson & Johnson product. That's right, the same company that brings you your baby shampoo and baby oil and those other body care products, Johnson & Johnson. But you know, they were selling cannabis products even before they became Johnson & Johnson. Right next here, we have a Seaberries and Johnson corn plaster. This is a predecessor. This is from 1840, and this is a predecessor of Johnson & Johnson. Seaberry and Johnson joined together. Now here's a medical company that's still in business today, Eli Lilly. This is powdered extract of cannabis. This bottle's from 1915, and it's basically powdered hashish. We might call it keef if we were using it. It's that sugary, and you get a whole ounce in this little jar. Right next door is another product, one of dozens of products, also from Eli Lilly, that they produce. This is a pint bottle of cannabis indica extract. It says it's for all sorts of different things. Non-poisonous according to the best authorities, but formerly regarded so. And this is also from 1916. Right next to it is another cannabis extract bottle from Sharp and Dome. Sharp and Dome. Then we have a couple of modern cannabis energy drinks. Not that we really advocate, some of these energy drinks, but it's really here to demonstrate our hemp flame of freedom. This is hemp oil burning on a hemp wick. So this is next week's wick. That was just attached here shortly ago, and this is hemp oil, pure hemp oil. So this is 100% hemp energy, and this is the reason marijuana is illegal, because they wanted to suppress hemp energy, hemp fuel, and hemp fiber. And so here are some chocolate-covered hemp seeds that you can buy legally over the counter, and hemp twine. So that is the end of our sharing.
Oh, no, it's
for
not.
the week.
There's one more hemp antique that you forgot.
You
got a birthday coming up, right?
No.
And how old are
That's
you going to
still a
be?
ways.
How are you going to be?
I'm going to be 54. But
54?
Not for a couple weeks here.
Couple of weeks,
I
but
think we've
you're
got
a hemp
2 weeks to go.
Hemp antique, got hemp in your lungs, got hemp in your digestive system.
Yeah, it's
hemp in your
thoroughly
nostrils.
My
You're
body,
made of hemp.
my soul.
Yeah,
what can I say?
Another hemp antique. Right
That's
here.
right. Becoming more and more so, as these bottles and jars are every day. But cannabis enhances longevity and keeps you young and stops stress.
And I know how bashful you are about accepting gifts. So if you want to give Paul Stanford a gift,
donate to the initiative.
No. You can give me a bag of herb, and I'll smoke it and say
But I
thank
already
you on
give you
behalf
all
of
the
Paul.
herb you need, right? I give you all the herb you need.
You do, but
so, that's not good enough, huh?
No, it's just you can never
Okay.
have too much. It's like chocolate and money.
Okay. Or love. You can never have too much love, right? So anyway, if you have a question or comment, we've got about 5 minutes left to go here. You can call us at that number there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. And though we're in the midst of our petition drive, I've got to say thank you to the medical patients that come to THCF clinics all across America, but especially those here in the Northwest. We are able to pay our bills and keep the lights on and help the medical marijuana movement and work to end adult marijuana prohibition and restore hemp, because people come and help us become medical marijuana patients. We help them become medical marijuana patients. They help us. They pay the doctors. They pay the bills. So we want to say thank you. And if you're out there and you have a loved one or a family member who needs medical marijuana, anywhere in the United States, we can help anybody who's a legal resident of the United States now. Then they should give us a call at that number there on your screen. It's 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. If you're here in the Portland area, you can call us locally at 503-281-5100. That's 503-281-5100.
Don't forget to invite them to your little party that you're throwing there down by the river.
Yeah, we have the Hemp Stock Festival coming up on September 27th and 28th. In fact, we just met with the wonderful people at the Portland City Parks and Recreation Department just this afternoon, and we love you guys. And we met with the officer who's in charge down there, and a representative from City Commissioner Amanda Fritz's office, who did an excellent job. And we're going to be at Waterfront Park, the Tom McCall Waterfront Park, on September 27th and 28th. We know for sure John Trudell will be there, Los Marijuanos will be there, John Cornett will be there, I will be there, Casper will be there, and we got Chris Bennett coming down from Canada, just so stay tuned for our bash at Waterfront Park. And we might even have some of the Willie Nelson clan showing up.
And we are expecting about 10,000 of our closest friends, right?
More like 50,000, maybe 100,000. You're all welcome down there. We've got room, and our vendors would love to see you. So come on down to that. You can find out more at hempstock.org. That's hempstock.org. I'm also happy to announce that our Facebook page is just on the verge of breaking 500,000 people who follow and like it. So if you go to facebook.com/restorehemp, you can find the latest news. We post about 50 news articles there every week. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing here, Casper?
Yes, it is important that everybody finds out about Time for Hemp, the global broadcasting network found at timeforhemp.com, where we have about 45 amazing, talented hosts giving you the best information about the need to end prohibition. And like a good joint, we are best when shared with your friend. And yes, this is a shameless plug.
Thank you, Paul. And I'll put in a shameless plug for freedom. We have our petition drive. Get our petitions. Help us make this goal a reality. Go to our website at HEMP. Make a donation. If you or someone you know needs a job, we're hiring people, paying $15 an hour plus bonuses, and we're paying daily, every single day. Work today, get paid tomorrow. So come on down and help us. Let people know we're hiring people. All you have to be is you have to get registered Oregon voter signatures, but you don't have to be registered in Oregon to do this. So we have until July the 3rd to gather signatures. The deadline, when July the 4th starts, at 5 p.m. on July the 3rd, we've got to have all of our signatures into the state. So help us put this important issue on the ballot. And just go to our website at hemp.org, HEMP, where you can print that petition out. We're going to go out with another great song from John Cornette and Corey. We'll see you back next week. Help us restore hemp.